channel, sports fans. Okay, let's get into this one right here. LeBron James is not part of greatness. 21 seasons in the league and failed to be a part of greatness. Whether it was a greatest team, a three-peat, a four-peat, a dynasty, a duel, an all-time decade winner, LeBron was not part of greatness. 21 seasons in the NBA and has failed to be a part of greatness. So let's look at this real quick. And if you don't see the images on your screen, like always, they're going to pop up and we're going to tell the story. So you got Michael Jordan and Pippen, 6 championships together, or 6 finals, 6 championships. We're talking about the greatest duels of all time. You have Bob Cousy and Bill Russell. From what I found, 7 finals appearances together in 6 championships. Then you have Magic and Kareem. 8 finals together and 5 championships. You have Curry and you have Clay. 6 finals and 4 championships together. You have Kobe and you have Shaq. 4 finals appearances and 3 championships together. Then you have Bird and McHale. 5 finals appearances and 3 championships. And if I'm not mistaken, you have Duncan and Parker. What did they have? 4? No, 5. 5 finals appearances and 4 championships. Where's LeBron James? And we say this because LeBron has team hopped from team to team to team to team to team to team to team and isn't one of the greatest duels. Not with Wade, not with Kyrie, not with none of these guys. Not with AD. And this guy is supposed to be the GOAT. This is the guy that makes his teammates better. And you see 2 of these guys on here. Well, 2 of these duels on here with Clay and Curry. And then you have Duncan and Parker. It's in the LeBron era. In the LeBron era. Remember, when you go down the line and you start from Bob Cousy and Bill Russell, and then you go to Magic, Bird, Kobe, and Shaq, LeBron was supposed to be next. He was supposed to be next to have a great player. Whether it was Wade, whether it was Kyrie, or maybe it was AD. To be one of the greatest duels of all time. But he couldn't make these guys better. And I would say, in most of these instances, you had a leader. You had Jordan. You had Bill Russell. You had Kareem. You had Duncan. You had Curry. You had Shaq. You had Bird to lead their teammates and dual teammate to greatness. But they will tell you right to your face that it's LeBron ultimately is a better leader. It makes teammates better than these guys. That's what they'll tell you. That's what they'll tell you. How can you make your teammates better when you're melting down in a championship game? You can't shoot the three. You can't shoot the mid-range. You can't hit free throws. Underwhelming rebounds. 7 a game. You always got the ball in your hand. Like you're really a floor general getting 7 assists a game. Most disappointing duels of all time. We're gonna look at this. It's gonna pop up on your screen in a minute. The most disappointing and underachieving duels of all time. And I don't mean to beat up on some of these great guys. That's just what it is. That's what happened. It is what it is. So you got Baylor and you got West. 7 finals, no championships. You got Karl Malone, you got John Stockton. 2 finals, no championships. You got Wade and Kyrie. 3 finals, 1 championship. You got LeBron. Again, 4 finals and 2 championships with Dwayne Wade. And people are going to be like, man, how you got LeBron on top, man? Jerry West and Baylor, 7 finals, man, and no championships? Well, they didn't go around building super teams. From what I know, these 2 players were drafted, and they were losing to who? They were losing to the greatest team of all time. And as we'll see, I'm not trying to hate on Golden State, but they're not the greatest team of all time. Yes, they had the greatest record of all time, but they're not the greatest team of all time. They didn't win that championship, so they're not the greatest team of all time. Are we saying, when was that? What was it, the 16 Patriots? Are we saying the 2016 Patriots, if I'm not mistaken, that's the year they went undefeated and lost in the championship, in the Super Bowl? Are we saying that's the greatest team of all time because they had a better record than the 12-0 Dolphins? No. They still say that the 12-0, what, 12-0 or 12-13? They still say that Dolphins team is the greatest team of all time. Because they won the championship. They will tell you bozo stuff that doesn't make any sense. They will say that LeBron beat the greatest team of all time. But then they'll say that the 2017 Warriors, who didn't have a better record than the 16 Warriors, and they won the championship, they'll say that team is the greatest of all time. And also, what they'll do is they'll put that team against the 96 Bulls. That's what they'll do. That's the LeBron media. They will have you so confused. So did LeBron beat the greatest team of all time or not? And If LeBron beat the greatest team of all time, why aren't they putting the 96 Bulls against the 16 Warriors? Well, I think because they know the 96 Bulls will spank the 16 Warriors. That's what they know. So they got to add Kevin Durant to the equation, right? They got to add Kevin Durant. They got to add a piece. The Bulls ain't go add a piece. Okay, give us Charles Barkley then. So they like to confuse people. That's the media. They'll say LeBron beat the greatest team of all time, but then they'll try to put that 17 Warriors team against the 96 Bulls because they claim the 17 Warriors are the greatest team of all time. Huh? Anything they got to do to discredit Michael Jordan and the Bulls, who was the greatest team of all time in 96, that won the championship. Most dominant decade winners in NBA history. This isn't one decade. This isn't their whole career. So let's don't start, oh, you forgot an MVP. You forgot a championship. This is for a decade. So Bill Russell in the 60s, 9 championships, 4 MVPs. They didn't have finals MVP back then. Michael Jordan in the 90s, 6 championships, 6 finals MVPs, and 4 MVPs. In the 80s, Magic Johnson, 5 championships, 3 MVPs, and 3 finals MVPs and 2 MVPs. Again, in the 80s, Kareem, 5 championships, 1 finals MVP, and 1 MVP. Shaq, 2000s, 4 championships, 3 finals MVPs, and 1 MVP. Kobe in the 2000s, 4 championships, a finals MVP, and 1 MVP. Why LeBron isn't on this? Because he only won 3 championships in the 2000s. Say what you want. You're going to say, oh, man, that man won 3 finals MVPs and 2 MVPs, man. He should be over Kobe. Give me the championships any day. And the fact that LeBron played on super teams and played with other teams' number 1 franchise players, none of these guys did this. They played with their teams to win. They might have got 1 draft pick or 1 good draft pick or 1 good free agent. It's respectable. But I don't respect a guy who won 2 finals MVPs with other teams' number 1 franchise players. Chris Bosh, Dwayne Wade, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Love were all other teams' number 1 franchise players. So those MVPs aren't even respectable. Now, when he won the MVPs in Cleveland, those were more respectable. Some people say, they were fraudulent. Other people should have won, like Kobe. But it is what it is. When I can look at, he had the best record in the league 2 years in a row. He didn't have other teams' number 1 franchise players at the time. Yes, Ben Wallace was over there, but Ben Wallace didn't come straight from Detroit. Shaq was over there, but he didn't come straight from the Lakers. So to me, those are just free agents. And they were a little bit older. Even though LeBron still didn't maximize them. Jordan took Ron Harper. He took Dennis Rodman and maximized these guys, winning championships on an older team. Everybody on that second three-peat Bulls team, they wasn't no spring chickens. They basically shut the league down on defense with their defense. That's how they was winning. And defense turned into offense. That's all LeBron had to do. Be a good defensive team. He had that in Cleveland. They were top 5 in defense. Those years he had the number 1 seed. But what did he find out? That he wasn't that dude that could come through in the clutch offensively and hit those free throws, hit those mid-range shots, hit those three-point shots. That's what he found out. So when he left Cleveland, what did he do? He traded defense for offense. I need shooters. I need shooters. That's what he wanted. He wanted shooters. He wanted shooters, so he got shooters. Whether it was in Cleveland or Miami. And you can even say in LA too. I said this in another video. All this spreading out the floor. Who was doing that first? It was LeBron. Starting in Cleveland. So he could drive the hole because they changed the defensive rules. Once they changed those defensive rules, he no longer had to be fundamentally sound. He no longer had to change his game to where he had a go-to shot, a mid-range. He didn't have to have no paint moves, no real positional skills. He could just start at the three-point line and charge the lane. You got to have something. You got to have something. All great players had some type of positional skills. Whether they were perimeter shooters, they played in the paint, they could hit the mid-range. I just can imagine this guy playing in the 90s or the 80s. And you can't shoot the mid-range. Nobody's just going to let you shoot threes in their face in the 90s. That's why I said this stuff wouldn't work out that they're doing today. Nobody's just going to let you shoot threes in their face because they play this little game today where 4 guys sit at the three-point line and 1 guy with the ball starts to drive. And instead of letting the defender play the guy with the ball that's driving, you got an idiot three-point shooter, well, idiot three-point defender who is on his guy. He will collapse and give help trying to stop that guy that's driving. So it leaves a three-point shooter open. So the guy that's driving, he's either going to keep going now that he's got 2 guys on him, or he's going to kick it out to the three-point shooter that's open. Now that three-point shooter that's open, he's like, what am I going to do? Am I going to shoot this 3? Because now another three-point defender comes off of his guy. So he's like, am I going to shoot this 3? Am I going to drive, or am I going to kick it to another open three-point shooter, my teammate? So in the 90s, this wouldn't happen because first, that guy that's driving with the ball, the defender that's on him, that's going to be it. You're not going to have another three-point defender collapse and help him because those guys knew how to play defense. And they didn't make up phony, fake defensive rules like they got today where you can't play defense. And that's part of the reason why a lot of these three-point defenders collapse and help his teammate with that guy that's driving, because you're not allowed to play real defense today. So greatest NBA Finals run. Now, don't get mad. We could put the Warriors on here, and we could put the Spurs on here. But this is just what it is. You have Boston from 57 to 69 8 times first place in the division. They didn't have conference back then. 3 times 60-win seasons. 12 times NBA Finals appearances. And 11 championships. Number 2, 80 to 90. You have 9 times first place in the conference, 6 times 60-win seasons. This might be wrong. This is NBA Finals. That should be 8, right? Yeah, that should be 8. Unless we were going to 90, it should go to 91 then. If it's going to be 9, 5-time NBA champion. And we got the Bulls. 91 to 98, 5 times first place in the conference, 5 times 60 wins in a season, 6 NBA Finals appearances, and 6 NBA champions. 6 NBA championships. Now, this with the Lakers, this might be wrong. It's 80 to 9. You guys tell me if that's wrong. It might be wrong. As far as the date. So, once again, LeBron doesn't have a team, isn't on here for greatness. And if we add other teams on here, they got other teams that come before, a LeBron team, which again probably would be the 80 Celtics. I don't know in what order, the 80 Celtics. And then you had the 2015 Warriors until they won their last championship. And like I said, you got the Spurs. That run. But we do know, again, when it comes to greatness, LeBron is not on this. Whether it's a duo, a team, winning championships, he does not qualify for greatness in his 21 seasons. Except for greatest underachieving duels. That's what he would be on, right? He won't be on here for greatness. Actually, he was on there twice for underachieving. And, even though, him and AD only went to one finals and won that finals, for the years that they've been together and they really haven't did anything, they should be on some type of underachieving duels as far as only winning one championship, one finals appearance. And they've been together how long? 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 5 years. And that's all they can scrape up is a Disney bubble? Wow. Imagine Kareem, Magic, Bird, Mikal, Curry, Jordan. These type of players, even Wilt, having a bubble championship on a record, they will be destroyed. It would be a joke. Nobody would count that. Nobody would count that. The earth had to be shut down. And people was dying for LeBron to win a Mickey Mouse championship. At least in football, when they won it, Brady won that championship? At least it was fans. They wasn't in Orlando. They were close. They were in Tampa. But they were on a real site. And he played real competition. He played Kansas City, Mahomes. He didn't play like some HC where they lost a whole bunch of their players. Tell me what you think.